Hey everybody, Z Garcia here, and today I'm taking a look at Severton. Severton here is a cooperative board game in which the players are going to be taking on the roles of the Rapid Arrows. This group of kids right here, as they go into Severton and avoid detection by the Vont, their antagonists. This is based on a piece of Czech cult classic adventure literature that you might be familiar with. I personally was not familiar with it, and it puts you in the shoes of those characters from the book. The game is scenario-based. There are 5 scenarios in the game, with the first one really being a learn-to-play scenario, and then scenario 2, which is what I'll be showing you in the overview, opening up the game and giving you basically the entirety of the rules with a few other things happening that you don't see in that learn to play. And then there's also scenario 3, 4, and 5 giving you a couple more rules, a couple more things to do, and just some variation, all right? So I'm going to show you how the game operates on the table. This is not a full how to play. I'll just be giving you some ideas. We'll come on back after that. I'll tell you what I think of the game. In the game, the players are going to be taking on the roles of these characters, the Rapid Arrows, and they are going to be going up against the Vont. It's these pieces here that are going to be moving around Severton, trying to impede their progress. And what we are trying to do is, well, based on the scenario here, we're looking at scenario 2, but it's basically race up this track that represents us, before this one gets all the way to the top, representing the Vont, and we lose. You're going to be doing that by completing these quests down here, moving around the city, achieving our objectives. Every round in the game is tracked and represented on this track right here, so we would be moving around from phase to phase until the game reaches its conclusion. We've got it set up here, and by the way, you can change the difficulty by flipping over these boards to show these stars. The more stars, the harder the game is. So we're just setting it here. Scenario 2 as easy as it gets for scenario 2. No stars at all. And then we are good to go. So the very first thing that happens right here, we've got all our setup done with the players, their hand of cards. They have an item card that's not revealed yet. And then if you happen to be playing with fewer than 5 players, you can then take one of these double character cards, and one player would be playing as 2 characters. There's 2 of these. You can also have some communal characters based on the player count that you might have to set aside and everybody run together. But for now, we're assuming that I am playing either a 5-player game or a 1-player game in which I would also play like this. The very first phase here is going to be us, the players, taking our actions. The action phase. We have a hand of cards, each of us. Those cards are going to show generally 2 different things on them. They have a color here, which is going to let you move around the board following the different colored paths. And then the top, which is used for challenges, basically, to deal with the Vont if and when we encounter them or they encounter us. You'll also see the wild cards and the purple cards show this exploration symbol. That's going to let you either remove these locks from the secret passages and start using them, or if we're close enough to the Vonts here, decide to spy on them basically and find out what it is they are going to do, because that's programmed over here, but we don't know what it is yet, which way they're going to move and how we can deal with them. So those are the things you can do. Now in this phase, the action phase, there is no turn order. Players can just go whenever they feel like it. And you can do as much exploration as you want, but you can only move twice. If you are within 2 spaces of one of the Vonts, you can investigate them, and that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I'll discard this one here, and this can just go in the discard pile. I'm not tracking it for movement, so I should discard it. And then I'm going to find out what this group intends to do. I'll be revealing their cards. This one denotes which way they're moving. They're going to be moving any path, is what that means, towards the highest number. They're generally funneling towards the center of town because the numbers are going higher and higher towards the center of town. And then I flip over this one, which is going to tell me how I might be able to deal with these characters. Now the cards over here, again, these are movement cards. they're going to denote a couple of different things. This group is going to be moving yellow, then blue. And if they find one of us, we're going to have to deal with that. Some of them have a singular color, like this one's just blue. And then sometimes they'll have a symbol across the top where they'll be looking for a specific group of us. This group, for example, here will go blue, but before they do that, they're going to check if there's a group of us that's one or bigger in size. Say we're grouped up, and this one's just one of us, and then it'll follow that path. In this case, not purple. This one cares about there being a group of two of us, and it includes purple. So if there's a group of us it can get to, then it will do that. If not, then it just goes blue. And then over on this side, we've got these cards, and these tell you how you deal with them. There's 3 different options here. The top one is going to be we can fight these guys as a group. Any of us can contribute to this total value. I'll explain that in a second. This one means we're going to be talking our way out, and a single player has to talk their way out. And then this one happens to show all 3, and the bottom one is hiding. And we each have to hide individually. The cards come from our hands, and some of us may hide, some of us may not. I'll tell you what the consequences are of failing to do any of these things in just a second. So we've revealed then these 2 cards. We know what they're going to do. They are going to be moving to the highest adjacent number. They'll be going there. Okay, great. Now we know that, so we'll be watching out for that. You don't want to end up in that spot. And so once this phase is done, and we've done as much as we can or want to, we go to the next phase in which they will activate. Starting from the highest lettered one, if we have not revealed their card, we'll reveal just this one, and then we will deal with that. This is A right here. They're going to go red, and then they're going to go blue. Red goes to there, blue goes to there. They can never share a space, so they'll just stop there, and they would regroup. Regroup means if you've seen this card, we discard that and give them a new face down one. Because I haven't seen it, we just assume they've regrouped. There's no need to actually cycle that card out. We also didn't see these guys. Let's see. They are right here, and they are going to go... there's no group of 3 of us, so they'll go blue, and they can't go blue. So again, they also regroup. Then C, we already saw here. They're going to go there. And then D... does not have a group of 2 next to them, or they would go that way. So instead, they'll go yellow. But let's say that somehow we didn't quite get that right, and there's that group there, and these guys do indeed walk in here. Now, we're going to have to deal with them. And this is this card right here, okay? Let's assume then, for our example here, that this card actually has all 3 symbols. And in fact, I'll go in here and find one that has all 3 symbols, just so I can show you the 3 different ways in which we could deal with that encounter. And obviously, they won't all be present on every encounter. You will encounter them, by the way, if they move into you, or if you move into them. You can also choose to do this proactively. So we've got 2 characters in here. I'll go ahead and unstack that so we can see who it is. It's Fleetfoot right here. And then I'll flip this over. It is Red Cap right here. And so the different ways we can deal with this. If we get up to 18 in red combined between the 2 of us, then we can fight these guys off. And the way that works is if we, again, discard that much between us, with these being wild, so I could contribute 10 to that. In fact, if we can somehow get all the way up to 18, we're going to remove them and put them over here. And by the way, every card, after we move these guys, this one's already discarded. So you just want to go ahead and do that as you go so that you know where you're at. So that's one way we can deal with them, is fighting them off. They will show back up on the board when we replenish them in a later step. Next option is we can talk our way out, and only one person may do this. So I could do it with these 2. They're wild. That'd be a total of 8 in blue, and we need a total of 7. If I do that, I actually am lying to them and saying, oh yeah, those kids you're looking for, they went that way. So we get to push these guys one away, whichever direction we want to. And then we're done with them. And then the final option would be hiding from them, in which we each have to hide individually. It requires 5 in yellow, so I could do it with these 2 cards, equaling 6 in yellow, and I'm hidden. Now, if somebody else couldn't hide, they'll get caught. So it's possible some of us will hide and some will get caught. Anybody who is caught because we couldn't do one of these two, or some of the ones that got caught here at the bottom, anybody who is caught is going to have to discard their hand of cards. They come off the board, and then we are going to move this track up one. And this track speeding up would be bad for us, right? So that's the idea there. With all of these encounters done, we go to the next one, which is dealing with the quests. They're down here, and they basically tell you what it is you are attempting to do. They are being represented on the board by cubes, red cubes over here, blue or purpley cubes, and then yellow cubes. And they explain what it is you are attempting to do. Go here, show these cards. The next phase has you move up the track over here, the unrest track, 2 steps. Don't forget this moves up 1 every time a group of us is caught. If it happens to multiple people at the same time, it's still just 1 step. But it also moves up twice right here. If you are playing with any of the double characters, then this counts as its own step. So it would go 1, 2. But normally in 5 or 1 player, it just goes 1, 2, like that. Then the next step is when you redeploy these pieces, any of them that have come out, including some that you might have added to the lineup here from here, because you've crossed that space. This says bring E into play. Here it says bring F into play. So there might be more groups making life difficult for you. And then the next phase over here has us replenishing our hands. You have a list down here that says how many cards you are going to be drawing based on how many you are holding. If I carried over 3 cards, I'm going to get 2. This is different for all the characters in the game, and everybody has a special ability as well, of course, which that's why you want to have a character in front of you. And then the final step then would be replenishing these missions so that you're always working on something. This will continue going around and around until either we lose because this made it all the way up to the top, or we win because this made it all the way up to the top. And when that happens, game's over and you see how well you did. And perhaps you move on to then scenario 3 if you found this very easy, or just go ahead and flip over one of these boards so that it's a little bit harder. You're now working up against 1 star. Maybe you then flip both and now you're going up against 3 stars, or any combination of that you'd like to. I haven't mentioned the items yet. Whenever you spend a whole phase, action phase, without moving at all, you can investigate, but no moving, you're allowed to reveal your item. You can't even look at it before then. And the item is going to do something special one time in the game. Here's a stone. It says use it to distract. When alert Vont are looking around, designate a location without Vont up to 2 distance away. It counts as if it had the maximum number of character tokens. You toss a stone, they go that way instead. And then you discard this. So there you go. That is the idea. That is how everything plays in the game. Down here are some tokens, by the way. Whenever you have to redeploy any characters, you just flip over one of these. So if I'm putting out E, you see it has this clover symbol. I would flip this. It says 17. E goes into 17. That's how you deploy them. And that's also how you give these missions here locations. But that's enough of that. Let's go ahead and go back up top. So I'll start here with the production of the game and the theme, those tactile and visual things that make a board game a board game. Thematically, I really like the idea of this. I love the personality of these kids. They're really just represented as one piece of text that gives them a special ability. And if you don't know the novel or any of that content, spin-off content, then you're not really going to know who they are. And in fact, they even make all of these kids, you can flip their card and their token over, and they can be a boy or a girl. I figured they were specific characters in the novel, in this literature, but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe these are new characters that are not in that piece of art of work. Not sure there. But I like the trappings here. It's a neat city. It's a neat world. And it does put you in the shoes of these children working together. Their camaraderie is apparent. The sort of panic of these other kids, this gang of kids looking for them, that's apparent. And it's interesting, and you can feel that tension. As far as the production goes, I also like the look of this game a lot. I think the artwork is fantastic. And I like the clarity of everything that is going on. The board is very easy to parse. The cards that the players are going to be handling, very easy to distinguish from one another. There's a lot of artwork, and actually the symbols you need to worry about are relegated to the side of the card, but legible. It's not just, hey, we have really nice artwork, symbols are, secondary. They're there, they're easy to see and understand. So the whole thing looks good. As far as the gameplay goes, I have a couple of big issues with this game, with the big one being scalability for me. I just think the game does not scale very well, and I'm not even sure at what player count I would be particularly happy. I find them all to be somewhat problematic for me personally. At one player, you are running, there's a few different ways to do it, but my ideal way to do it would be 5 characters. I'm running the entire group of kids. But that's a lot to keep track of, considering you need to know how many times each of them has traveled. They can travel up to twice, except for that one kid who could do it 3 times. So that card you cannot just discard when they travel. You have to keep that card somewhere and track that they traveled. You also can sometimes travel by ignoring the color. One kid does it as their special ability, but they all can do it by tagging along. You need to track that, because that one kid who can break the rule, did he already, or did he tag along with another one? A lot of things that need to be tracked in a one-player game. So putting that aside, it can be done, but it's a lot of mental gymnastics. 5-player game, then perhaps is my favorite, because I can have one kid, that's me. I'm represented by that kid in the game. I have my hand of cards, my special ability. I won't forget what it is I do. But then there's 5 of us, all talking at the same time, all attempting to figure out who should go next, because it's all free form. The game is certainly susceptible at that point then to some alpha gaming, though again, I don't put that on a game. I think that's a player problem generally. But the free form nature of the game will rear its head, and it can be a little ugly, So that's a little tricky. Anything between 1 and 5 starts to get into the whole, you have a card that represents 2 kids. They'll always travel together. You just take their 2 tokens and make sure they always move as a pack. And I just don't like that. It feels kind of weird. Am I 1 kid? Am I 2 kids? I don't love that. I can do the 5, everybody's 1 single kid. Or I can do I'm running a team. I'm the coordinator. But you're a kid and I'm 2 of them? Don't love that. Putting all that aside, and again, that is probably one of my bigger issues with the game. It's also, I found it to be fairly punishing. It's a pretty difficult game. It can be, it can give you that feeling of 1 step forward, 2 steps back, quite a bit of the time. And it does have some built-in catch-up mechanisms, I'm assuming because of that very thing. As you are moving up on the unrest track, there's a couple of steps in there that say if the good track is not up to this point, bump it 1. Well, that's just rubber banding, it feels very artificial. It feels like the balancing needed a little push over the finish line, and you just built it into the track. If this one's behind when you hit here, bring it up. If this one's behind, bring it up. All right, that's literally rubber banding. Don't love that. It feels, again, artificial to me. The thing that tracks the round at the top of the board, I like that. It's very clean. It is useful, but it's also very procedural. And that comes across in the game, that feeling of going through a very prescribed procedure. Now do this. Now check that. Replenish this. Mechanically, I like the broad strokes here. I like moving on a board, having to use your cards, tagging along with another kid. I like that. The Vonts, the bad kids, having a program they're following, and you can peek, know which way they're going to go, and then try to get out of their way. I love the contending with them in 3 different ways. That's all very clever and interesting, but it is a lot going on, and it does feel very procedural. So I like the game in many ways. I do enjoy the game. It's one I would have a hard time knowing how many players I need at the table to bring it out. That'd be a struggle for me, and thematically I have a hang-up with that idea. But I like what's going on in it, even though I do find the game difficult, and I like the amount of content that this is offering. 5 scenarios, really 4 scenarios, because the first one's just to learn how to play. I like that. And they are very replayable, mind you. You can just play scenario 2, like I showed you. You can just play that forever. The cards will come out in a different order, your missions. So you'll be needing to achieve various things at different, in a different order. Your kids will be in different places. It'll go differently. So I like that. It could have just been that one scenario as the whole game. I appreciate that. But there are a few things that hold the game back for me. Some of those issues I can't, it doesn't quite break through some of those, parameters for me to make the game pure fun. It still feels mechanical. It still feels a little, I can hear the gears grinding a little bit underneath the entire thing. It's a slightly clunky game. So it's a kind of a hard one to categorize for me. I enjoy it, and I think if you are someone who has a connection to the theme, I don't know how many people have a connection to the theme, to be fair, but if you do, I assume it's well implemented, and I like what's going on in it thematically. I just don't have anything to hang my hat on. I don't know this property. Then maybe I would recommend it. Or if you're someone who loves hidden movement, if you love that idea of trying to figure out what the bad guys are going to be doing, and you want to peek ahead, to reveal what they're going to be doing and then plan ahead. I like those things. I'm going to come in at a 6 on this one, though, because I think it doesn't quite hit the mark with all of the things it is attempting to do. I wish they would have found a different way to scale the game to different player counts. And I wish the game felt a little more cohesive, maybe, felt a little more streamlined, maybe. That would have done it, I think. It's still not going to be my favorite game ever with some of these sort of ideas implemented, but I enjoy what it does. It's one that I could certainly see myself playing. I also find it to be a little long for what it does. I should mention that. It's 90 plus minutes. Feels a little long for what you are doing. There's some repetition there, and I don't know if it needs to be an hour and a half, 2 hours to get its point across. So there you go, Severton, an interesting game, a quirky game, and if you are a connoisseur of cooperative games, maybe one you want to check out just for the sake of seeing something very, very different. But for me, I'm going to come down at a 6 on this one, like I said. That is Severton. Thank you very much for tuning in and checking this out with me, folks. My name is Zeke Garcia. I'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for watching another video here on the Dice Tower. We really appreciate you stopping by and checking our things out. Thanks so much for joining us today. And hey, if you really like what we're doing here at the Dice Tower, then there are different ways to support the Dice Tower. One of those ways is through Patreon. We have links in the description to this video, and we have links to lots of other things we do down there, so definitely check it out. But either way, we're glad you watched us. Tell your friends about the Dice Tower. Until next time, though, I'm Tom Vassell, and I hope you enjoyed this video.